Wow, that's a cool tattoo.
Thanks, but it's not real yet. I'm kind of scared to get it. I don't know what tattoos are really like.
Well, maybe you should look it up.
That's a good idea. I guess the best way to find out information is to ask a real tattoo artist. How does getting a tattoo work?
Injects the ink through the top layer of skin. As the skin heals, it traps the ink that disappeared into the lower levels of skin. Most tattoo parlors use an electronic needle, which has either single needles or a cluster of needles, soldered to a bar and attached to an oscillating unit. You use different amounts of needles depending on the lines that you want to make. The unit rapidly and repeatedly drives the needles in and out of the skin, usually 80 to 150 times a second.
Is that sanitary?
The tattoo artist must wash not only his hands or the person that is getting the tattoo in that area needs also to be washed. Gloves must be worn at all times, and the wound must be frequently wiped with a disposable towel of some kind. The equipment must be sterilized in a certified autoclave before and after every use.
How much does it cost?
Size and the complexity of the tattoo, area of the body that is being tattooed, and the time that the artist takes.
What kind of ink do you use?
It's similar to what you find in makeup.
I know my tattoo artist is good.
To become a tattoo artist, in most states, you need to be certified, so ask to see the tattoo artist's credentials.
Are there any health risks?
Risk of infection, but a professional tattoo artist will minimize the risk with proper sanitation procedures. There's also a risk of allergic reaction to the ink. A pretty low risk at that, but there is some ink that contains nickel, which is a common metal allergenic.
Talking to the tattoo artist was pretty cool, but I think I should get some opinions from people my age about the tattoo. How do you feel about tattoos?
I love them. I think they're beautiful. This is my first one. It's a ship. It says float, that's all you can. It's a Flogging Molly lyric. I just love them. They feel like a part of me. Like if they weren't there, I don't know. I feel the same way about my piercings. Like when I take them out and I look at my face, it just doesn't seem like my face. And I feel the same way about my tattoos. If they weren't there, I'd feel like naked in a way.
One of the reasons that I don't have a tattoo is probably because they're permanent, and I don't want to be a saggy old woman with a tattoo. Also because if I were to get a tattoo, I wouldn't want it to be visible, like at work and stuff. I would be afraid that would affect whether or not I would get a job or not, and how people's opinions of me, I guess. That's about it.
How do tattoos affect your life?
I've never gotten anything but good feedback for my tattoos. I'm always complimented on them. This one in particular, people seem to like. This one is a Gaslight Anthem lyric on my left shoulder, and people recognize it, and I make new friends, and my B is really cute and well done, so whenever people see it, I always get compliments. My mom's not happy with my tattoos. I guess that's the only negative things I get. But other than that, they're easy to hide, so I like to hide them whenever I go into work or anything, but other than that, I don't feel like they're shameful or negative in any way.
How would tattoos affect your life?
I feel like if I were to get a tattoo, my family wouldn't really be crazy about it, because my mom thinks that all tattoos are called tramp stamps, so she thinks that anyone with a tattoo pretty much is a tramp, and it pretty much it degrades you, and she thinks that everyone will see you as kind of like a slut or like a bad girl if you have a tattoo, no matter where it is, no matter what it's of. She just is totally against it. So I feel like I would lose some respect from my parents. But I feel like socially a lot of people are very accepting of tattoos, especially now most people our age have tattoos. But I feel like mostly it would be people in the older generations.
If you were to get a tattoo, what would it be of?
If I were to get a tattoo, it would be of my horse's name, because I just feel like that would be a nice way to have her with me forever. But again, I would want it to be someplace where it can't be seen all the time, because I don't want that to affect whether or not I got a job. But I just feel like if it was anything, it would have to be something really meaningful like that to me, like my horse's name or my dog's name, or just something as a little reminder of something that was a big part of my life that might not be there forever.
Does your tattoo have significance?
Okay, this one and the one I have on my shoulder, it's a seagull, says stay hungry, stay free, were both things that I got because when I was in high school, my entire high school career, I had very bad anorexia. I was hospitalized a few times, and both of them just were to remind me to stay strong and like not let that take hold of me. Like, this is float, that's all you can. And it reminds me of basically through high school, all I was doing was floating. Like, I had no control over my actions, and like anorexia is crippling, so it just reminds me to stay strong. And the other one, stay hungry, stay free, pretty obvious, like a double entendre. It's like stay hungry, stay like passionate, but also like literally like stay hungry. And I have a bee on my back, and my bee is my newest one, and I'm particularly fond of it because I kind of see bees as protection. I had an abusive stepfather, and he recently left my life, which I'm very happy for, and he had a deadly bee allergy, so I just kind of see bees as friendly, protective things, and I just always wanted to have one with me to also remind me of the struggles I've been through.
I did this tattoo in Canada. Actually, I went to the shop and I was like, is there any chance I can see any Om symbol? And the guy had so many design with the Om, and I like this color and this combination with the Om, and I wanted to do it for tattoo for a long time. So, and I went to Canada first time, so that was my memorable incident that I got tattoo in Canada, and I always gonna remember that how I get this one. And I really feel good about this tattoo, and I'm gonna getting one more next year.
And I did this tattoo because a lot of youngsters do it, and I was a little passionate about tattoo, so I was like, let me do it as well. So I just did it, and it was looked pretty good that time. I still like it though, and looking for more colors here. That time I just wanted black because it's like black is my color, so I just want to beside any color I just wanted to do on black. But now I like maybe put some extra color in there, so I might do as well.
Wow, these tattoos are really cool online. I wonder why tattoos became so popular. Let's look up the history.
In 1891, Samuel O'Reilly patented the first electronic tattooing machine. It was based on Thomas Edison's electric pen, which punctured paper with a needlepoint. The basic design with moving coils, a tube, and a needle bar are the components of today's tattoo gun. First tattoos probably were created by accident. Someone had a small wound, rubbed it with a hand that was dirty with soot and ashes from the fire, and once the wound had healed, they saw that a mark had stayed permanently, and thus the tattoo was born. It's arguably claimed that tattooing has existed since 12,000 years BC. In recorded history, the earliest tattoos can be found in Egypt during the time of the construction of the Great Pyramids. When the Egyptians expanded their empire, the art of tattooing spread as well. The civilizations of Crete, Greece, Persia, and Arabia picked up and expanded the art form. In the West, early Britons used tattoos in ceremonies. The Danes, Norse, and Saxons tattooed family crests, a tradition still practiced today. In 787 AD, Pope Hadrian banned tattooing. It still thrived in Britain until the Norman invasion of 1066. The Normans disdained tattooing, and it disappeared from Western culture from the 12th to the 16th century. While American tattoos really took off after the birth of the electronic tattoo gun in 1891. Chatham Square in New York City is considered to be the birthplace of the American-style tattoo. It used to be the school of thought that only gangs, criminals, and sailors got tattoos. But then in the 1970s, everything changed, and tattoos grew in popularity across the nation. It's now estimated that 1 out of every 10 Americans have a tattoo.
Now that I've talked to everybody and found out the history and science behind tattoos, I think I'm gonna get it. I love it!
Welcome to my life tattoo. I'm a man now, thanks to you. hurt, I'll regret you, but the skin graft man won't get